Deals and Delivery app or the Star Market Deals and Delivery app today. The Patriots primetime playoff game at Gillette Stadium. This place was rocking all night. 16-3 the final. Defense dominated. Mark Dondero, Joe Murray, Patriots Postgame. Shaw's the Star Market Patriots Postgame live from the broadcast booth here at Gillette Stadium. Joey, great night. What was your big takeaway from the Patriots postseason win?
Oh, well, it sounds like we got Mike Vrabel already.
We got Mike Vrabel's already at the
podium.
All right, Mike Vrabel at the podium. We're going to get Joey's takeaway in a second. Mike Vrabel's press conference is brought to you by Oakers Technologies.
Did you think they played tonight?
Well, I thought they played extremely well. I thought they were committed to stopping the run. I thought they were, the sudden change was critical. It was a very good defense that we were playing, and we turned the ball over far too many times. But what our defense was able to do early in that game, in the red zone, inside the 5-yard line or inside the 9-yard line, was, I think, really set the tone for them for the rest of the game. And could have been better. We had a lot of scrambles, and we knew that. And again, trying to rush and trying to make sure that those scramble lanes aren't there. Secondary did a fantastic job with the play extensions and making sure that those plays didn't get loose, and I'm just really proud of everybody.
Mike, how proud were you to see the effort and the finish towards the end of your defense? Obviously, they could smell blood. Milt Williams doing what he does to finish it off. And speaking of blood, how's your lip, and what's that like?
Well, we talked to him about being willing to spill some blood out there, and that the big dogs come out in January. And I think Milt took that to heart. And the way that he played the game and the way he finished the game, and he came over and got me pretty good, but that's what happens.
Mike, congrats on the win. Wondering what you thought of Drake May's performance tonight. Looked like he had a slower start, but finished very well.
Yeah, I mean, again, we got to take care of the football. I thought he came through when we needed him. The tip pass is something that was unfortunate. It turned into an interception. But the throw to Hunter, I thought, when we needed him, was elite.
Coach, talk about Zach Kerr. Obviously, defense plays unbelievable tonight, but he stepped in this season with everything that happened with Coach T. He's done a remarkable job.
He really has.
Talk about his the game he called tonight on defense.
Well, I would tell you that this means a lot to him. These players mean a lot to him. I think that they want to do well for Zach and for the entire staff. They put a lot into it, and I'm proud of Zach for not only the performance, calling the game, but the preparation and what goes into it. And he's earned every bit of recognition that he's getting and should get. And again, it takes everybody. There's great communication from upstairs, getting it to the players, and they certainly respond. And all the credit has to go to them. But Zach was able to change up some calls there at the end, and I felt like that mixed the pressure in because that's what we felt like we needed.
And Mike, congrats on the win. On third down, you guys were 1 of 10 defensively, 1 of 3 on fourth down. Was that a specific point of emphasis during the week? And how much momentum did you guys take from those stops in those situations?
A lot. And I think they probably got tired of hearing me talk about them being fourth in the league and in third down and what they were able to do as an offense, and so to be able to do that. But you have to be able to create some longer yardage situations, and we were able to do that. So that was, real positive. I think being able to get drives stopped. Certainly, the Chargers want to possess the football. They want to wear you down, and I don't think we ever let them do that.
Chris Ryan on the left.
Mike, was there a particular aspect of their defense's performance which you thought was the most significant? Was it stopping the run, how you're able to pursue Herbert? What stood out the most, and do you think kind of sent them in the wrong direction?
Well, I think the stop early helped. The fourth down stop really set the tone. But, being able to stop the run, if you look at the runs that they handed off to the running back, that's kind of, I think, where things started. You're going to look at the rushing yards and whatever it was, but those are quarterback scrambles on passes. So our ability to stop the run and force second and third and long situations, I think, really helped us. And those are only good if you can take advantage of them. We caused some turnovers. We hit the quarterback, and one time it bounces into the running back's hands, and he's taking off running, and Harold runs and makes a great effort play, and that's going to go for 12 yards and started as a strip sack, and then next time that very easily could be our football. So just the effort, and everybody played and everybody contributed. There's so many guys. Guys went down, other guys went in there and stepped up, and we play a lot of guys on defense, and I think that they all appreciate that, and I think they all have roles, and that's fun to see everybody contribute.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, Soph.
Congrats on the win. I was just curious about the run game tonight and what you saw from Ramondre, Travion, and Drake as well, specifically with him on that, I think it was a 30, I can't remember the exact number, but that big scramble.
It was long enough. I thought that it was good enough. I did. I thought that it was good enough. I thought we were close on a few. And, anytime that you can finish the game running the football against the Chargers and a defense like that, I think it's very positive. So certainly we weren't one-dimensional. We were able to run the football. We were able to get some yards on first down. I thought the backs ran hard. I thought they did a great job of taking care of the football. And, Drake, obviously, if he gets the looks that are advantageous, he can take off and run. And just like he did last week, he did the same thing this week.
Locker room's open. 2 final questions. Andrew Callahan and Yofi Chen.
And, Mike, the way the game declared, when did you feel like you got a handle on it?
Probably, I think after, Drake's pass, after the completion to Hunter and being up, putting us up a couple scores. And I thought that was a critical sequence. I thought it was a great drive. We were into drives. We talked all week about fighting to get the first down, and then we stalled. And so it was like, okay, you guys, we're getting the first down. Now we have to fight to finish the drive and do that. And that drive we certainly did.
Hey, Mike, other than the defense, it certainly feels like your special team to give you at least to keep you in the game for pretty long period of time. How do you feel about their performance tonight?
I thought it was solid. We didn't have a lot of opportunities. Thought Marcus handled the punts extremely well. I thought the decision to get let the ball bounce and get a touchback. Those are big decisions that we trust Marcus in to come up and catch the punts, and the way that we covered kickoffs, and I thought it was a very clean game from our special teams perspective. So they set the table for everything that we do offensively and defensively. Appreciate you guys.
All right, Mike Vrabel's press conference is powered by Oakers Technologies. The new year means time for new technology at your school or business. Turn to Oakers for products like TouchView Interactive, full IT, and more. Get future ready in 2026 with Oakers, proud partner of your New England Patriots. Patriots, again, 16-3. Mike Vrabel bleeding, getting his face hit. The Patriots, that was sort of a microcosm for what they did defensively tonight, Joe. Super impressive. What was your biggest takeaway from what you saw on that field tonight?
I know that you heard MVP chants all night for Drake May, but it was the defense that was the most valuable tonight. And I guess we'll hear from Drake May right now.
And now Drake May's press conference is brought to you by your local Chevrolet dealers.
Proud of this team. We never feel like, we never doubted it. We never doubted it. It didn't look, it wasn't pretty, that's for sure. But this defense was so fun to watch. Congrats to them, man. It was so fun to watch. They won the game for us. I didn't throw it very well tonight. Need to be better. But, we do what we had to do, and that's what it takes in the playoffs, and just proud of this team. That was fun, man. That was fun to get one at home, and look forward to be back here next week.
Hey, Drake. You said you didn't throw it very well tonight. Anything that contributed to that?
Just got to be better with, whether it's, accuracy or ball placement or little things or making decisions faster and held onto the ball a little bit tonight. So finally got one in the end zone, but I missed hoop on a touchdown. Had some other guys that I feel like I missed pop on a third down low, and just it wasn't my best tonight. But hey, that's why you have teammates and those guys picked me up, and never lost confidence. Was still slinging it around, and Kayshawn made some big plays. Came back to the ball twice on some big plays, and everybody's got that's the thing about us. We spread it around and can do a lot of things.
Drake, is playoff football different? Did it feel different out there with the stakes, the opponent? Did it feel different?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that Coach McDaniel's kind of said to us in the offense is that you come to the stadium with that kind of finality feel that it's win or go home or win in advance, and that's kind of the feeling that you get. So that's the kind of the biggest thing that I felt out there. And then from there, I think just the teams are going to be good. They had a great defense, they had a great quarterback, and we were the better team tonight. We made plays when we had to do.
Hey, Drake, you've talked at times about, sometimes nerves kind of set at the beginning of the game for you, a little amped up. Was that kind of going on a little bit, in the first half for you, where you had to kind of settle in, make a couple throws, or kind of get into who you are?
No, I wouldn't say that. The first one to Steph, I was right where I wanted to put it. Picked up a first down. Had the one to Hunter over the middle that I tried to protect him from the safety. Probably need to throw, fire in there a little more. And then from there, just high pressure throws when the game is critical plays. Just got to make them. I feel like I like my chances of making them, and not going to think too much about it and move on to next week.
Hey, Drake, congrats on the win, man. What did you see in terms of their rush lanes and having some open lanes and some opportunities to put it down and take off in some of those situations?
I think they're powerful, and credit to them for those guys up front. They play hard. They're relentless. They want to get to the passer, and that oftentimes when they our guys stay inside out in protection, that leaves some lanes for me to take advantage. And play some man in the back end. Anytime you got that, you got a chance to go and make some plays, and then from there, it was just trying to get down and just give us a chance to pick up some more first downs.
Drake, how valuable is it to have someone like Ramondre Stevenson who can pick up such a big gain on a short dump off?
Yeah, it's huge. They always talk about catching and getting upfield, and he's really consistent. And the one on the sideline that he broke a tackle, and thought he was gonna keep going for a while, but he's so good at making the first guy miss, and it's so valuable having him on third down, being able to pass protect and catch it out of the backfield. And I missed him a little wide on the one of the third downs. Just yeah, that happens. And, like I said, Mondre is a great player for us. He's been all year, and him and Travion are fun to be back there and watch. I got the best view in the house.
Mike Reese, followed by Alan Siegel.
Drake, family members here tonight, who was here to support you, and what did that mean to you?
Yeah, my parents come to every game, so they're always here. And my three brothers were here, which was pretty cool. All three of them being here, and it's just special with sharing these moments with them, and going home and probably playing ping pong until 1:30 or something, doing something with those guys. So having them in the house is cool. But no, those three of my best friends, and obviously and Michael. So can't forget about her.
Drake, during the week there was a big emphasis on Derwin James and what he can do to an offense, specifically individually. Was there a sense tonight that you went away from him, or you made a point of neutralizing him because he wasn't that big of a factor?
Yeah, that was the goal. Try not to let him, be a factor, and they try to put him around the ball and play him at the star and play him, blitz him some. So I thought we did a good job handling him. He's going to make plays. That's what great players do. And in coverage, he's a good player. He had some man reps tonight. I thought he did a good job. And then he almost got a hand on the one to Hunter. So he's everywhere. And with guys like that, you try to neutralize, but it's tough when they got guys up front as well that are good players.
Speaking of Derwin James, on that touchdown pass to Hunter Henry, it must have missed Derwin's hand by a couple of inches. What did you see on that play, and how did you process Hunter getting open at right moment?
Yeah, just trying to, usually got a flat control that kind of holds Derwin, but we really didn't. So just trusting Hunt. That he just makes big catches, over and over, and it was kind of a similar throw to the one to the hoop, and I missed the one to hoop, so I was just thinking, give him a chance to make a play, and like I said, it's a game of inches, and you come up on the right side of it.
Hey, Drake, you talked about the feeling of win or go home. Can you describe that feeling? Is it an elevated sense of urgency? Is it maybe an excited energy? Just kind of how would you describe what that feeling is?
Yeah, I think it's just playoff football. That's what it is. Kind of running that tunnel with the crowd. That was a cool moment. I kind of was running off the field, like, man, that was pretty sweet. Listening to the crowd, and I don't know why they put me last. Then he put Steph or somebody who hypes up the crowd, so I just kind of run out there. But or Big Willie loves doing something funny. So but it was cool. Proud of the fans for how they showed up, and then they show up every week. So looking forward to get back here at home, and that's it, playoff football, and that's what we said. At the beginning of the season, we'll play home playoff games in the playoffs, and this is what we did, and we're 1-0. Got to go to the next one.
Hey, Drake, it seems like you got almost every receiver or, target a ball tonight. What does it just say about that room and just the targets you have to throw to and just the weapons you have?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about that room is they care about each other. Coach Downing and those guys in that room, they do a great job of blocking in the run game, doing the little details right. We knew it was going to be a details game with how much zone they played, and they don't care about. Those guys are fired up in the locker room to win, and everybody made some big plays. And just proud of that group for how they've grown up and allowed me to grow with them and what they see. And they're great players for us. Nobody complains. They just all want the ball. I don't blame them because they're all good with it in their hands.
Thank you, Drake.
That's it? Oh, sweet.
All right, that was Drake May. His press conference is brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers and the Chevy Silverado, where dependability comes standard. A lot to get to. We'll react to both press conferences. We're going to react to the 16-3 Patriots win, 617-779-0985. We're going to take your calls, but first, Joey's going to get us updated with the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Well, the Patriots get the win over the Chargers 16-3 in the wild card round. The story was the defense, who stopped LA 9 out of 10 times on third down. They held Justin Herbert at just 159 yards passing. Drake May 17-29 on the night. Did throw for 268 yards and a touchdown. He did have 2 turnovers, but the defense and special teams picked them up in this one. They're bound for the divisional round. They'll host either the Texans or Steelers, who will play on Monday night. Some other scores: Buffalo defeated Jacksonville 27.
Market Patriots Postgame Show. That was the drive of the game, and the drive of the game is brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. We'll help you manage life's storm. 7 plays, 80 yards, capped by a 28-yard touchdown pass. Drake May to Hunter Henry, 617-779-0985. We're going to get to the calls in just a second. The thing I will say, Joe, what was so impressive to me, this game was not the Patriots' identity. And we've heard all this stuff about the schedule and they haven't had anybody, they've played nobody, all this. Throw it out the window. They played a good team tonight. They did not have their A game. They did not play with their identity that they've been used to all year. Drake May throwing the ball down the field, being dynamic. That was not the case tonight. They had to play and win a different way, and they didn't just play and win a different way. They suffocated the Chargers. They dominated defensively, and that's impressive in the playoffs against a good team. I don't care it was at home. They did it differently tonight. That was by far the most impressive part of the game for me because that's not who they've been all year. They've been a dynamic, down-the-field, passing attack. Almost, we saw like with the Colts back in the day. They used to throw the ball all over the yard, and then come playoff time, you didn't know what you were going to get. That wasn't this. They were a team that they adapted to whatever was going on in this situation tonight, and they thrived defensively. They crushed the Chargers. I thought the secondary covered their bleep off, and that was an impressive showing by them.
Yeah, I think a little early on it was hard to take advantage of their offensive line, which I think was the talk before the game. Eventually they got to him, right? Eventually they got to Justin Herbert, and I think there was a time where Herbert was just getting batted around, and when it came down to it, Chason made some big plays today. At the end, Milton Williams had a huge sack that kind of sealed the deal. But
Jennings and Williams.
Yep, exactly. Guys were all over the place today defensively. I thought there was the secondary, meaning Carlton Davis, even Gonzo, and we'll get into him in a little bit. They all played pretty well. At times, they had 8 guys in the box because the Chargers can be a big team who can run that way, but. This was all defense, and even I'll give the special teams credit too because they put them in situations and got them the leads that they needed to get into. But the story will be tomorrow is Drake May wasn't perfect. He wasn't perfect. He wasn't sharp, and a lot of guys have the jitters in their first game.
Yeah.
And I think tonight was a good one to lean on that defense. They tried to lean on the running game a bit, but the running game was Drake May. Right, yeah. And then they were able to kind of find Ramondre for some big runs, et cetera. But overall tonight, this was all defense. It's the first time I think this year where we can really say the defense won them a game. I'm not saying Drake May sucked. He did not by any means. Still threw for 268 yards.
Yeah.
It was all defense today, and they were more physical, Mark.
It was all defense today and red zone defense.
Oh, yeah.
They had not been this good, not even close to this good, playing red zone defense as they were today, and they set the tone with that 4th down stop early in the game. Mike Vrabel alluded to it, red zone defense. But this was a different type of game they had to play, and they didn't just play this type of game, Joe. They thrived. Drake May, was he great? No, he wasn't great, but he made the play. They thrived defensively. They quickly shifted their identity for tonight, and it worked tonight. And then we'll see what happens next week against either the Steelers or the Texans. All right, to you. Let's start it off. Stephen Maynard will lead us off. Hey, Steve.
Hey, guys. So you covered a lot of my points. I'd just say, one, I was skeptical about Milton Williams when we signed him, but tonight, especially that last play, I was like, all right, he's worth every penny. But more so, I'm not going to be a Debbie Downer. Awesome win, awesome game. The thing I'd say from a constructive standpoint from May, I just want him to learn how to take a sack. Because especially if we go against Houston next week, those fumbles, we almost lost 2 of them. I think that's going to be a big kid. Like it felt like we were watching the Steelers game again, where he was just giving up bad fumbles. So the biggest takeaway is just please take the sack. Don't drop the ball on the ground that many times.
Yeah, I thought he could have done a better job of feeling that pressure around him. They got to him a couple times, and those were on Drake May. And obviously you would be skeptical going up against the Texans' defensive line after a performance like that. I did not think the offensive line was great tonight. I did not think Will Campbell was great tonight, or that left side of the line was great tonight overall.
Just on that, Mark.
Yeah.
Drake May probably has in his mind that he has to do everything for the offense to really get going. And I think tonight was a game where he didn't have to do that. So I just When it came to the mistakes, I attribute it to that. He still feels like at times he needs to do everything. But you saw it tonight. They got the lean on the defense. He's been able to lean on a running game last week. These are just, this is the first playoff game he ever played.
Sure.
Like, think about it. He has a win. Justin Herbert's done this 3 times and is 0-3 in his career.
That's a huge thing to get under your belt. Just get that playoff win that eliminates so many questions going forward. And again, it eliminates that whole schedule narrative. Okay? Doesn't matter. They won their first playoff game and they suffocated this team.
And they beat one of the best quarterbacks they played all year long.
I mean, Houston was what on third down? 1 of 10 on third down?
Today, yes.
And they were
Chargers,
Houston.
Yep.
I'm saying Houston. Los Angeles, 1 of 10 on third down, and they were one of the better teams on third down all year.
And by the way, they went for it on 4th down on the goal line once. Have we learned anything about the playoffs so far? Take the points. What are these teams doing?
Tonight.
Take the points, especially early in games.
Let's get another one. Andrew's in Southie. Hey, Andrew. Andrew.
Oh, Andrew.
Hey, well, he's gone.
Let's go to Jake in the car. Hey, Jake.
Hey, guys. So I just got in the car, back in my car from the game. I lost my voice. It was a great atmosphere. 2 things. 1, the keyboard warriors can stop talking about the schedule narrative. I agree with you on that. That's out the window. Drake May did very good for his first playoff game. Obviously, I do agree with the fact that with the fumble situation, if we do against Houston. And 2, which team do you guys think would be a better matchup? Personally, I think it would be the Steelers rather than Houston, but I'm curious what you guys think. Thank you.
I'm not afraid of either team. I think they have a good chance to beat either team. I'd like to see the Steelers. I prefer the Steelers. I want to see a rematch of that game. I think the Patriots would want to get a little bit of revenge. But, I mean, I think Houston's leaked a little oil over the course of the last month. I'm not terrified of either matchup.
I think both teams would have won this game against the Patriots tonight.
Yeah, I disagree.
Really?
Yeah, because I think their defense dominated, Joe. I think they kicked ass. Okay, and I think that the Patriots and May specifically, he just keeps coming. We've said it all year. He makes mistakes. He'll make a play to make up for the mistake. He made more than I would have liked tonight. But if they play like that, I don't care who it is, Rodgers, the corpse of Aaron Rodgers, or C.J. Stroud, they'll be in a position to win the game. Let's get one more call in. We'll go to Will's in West Palm. Hey, Will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, how about this defense, man? We gave up 3 points tonight. That's enough to lean on, if you ask me. Also, let me ask you this question. Has Drake May surpassed Justin Herbert on the echelon of the top NFL quarterbacks?
Playoff wins, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wait, he's already been closer to an MVP award, whether he wins it or not. He's already better. We'll see where it goes, but he's already better.
So it's funny, like, do the Chargers have a built-in excuse that they were without their 2 best offensive linemen? Did Hampton play?
He had one play.
I didn't even see it.
Yeah,
it didn't matter. So that's like the built-in excuse. The injuries, this, and that. I don't know. See, I don't forget these things, but there was a time with the Chargers when they were thinking about moving on from Herbert. This is when Harbaugh took over. Like, the big thing with this matchup today, Mark, was the Chargers had a chance to choose John Harbaugh or Mike Vrabel, and they chose Jim Harbaugh. And at that time, the Patriots called on Justin Herbert because they haven't drafted Drake May yet. So all those were storylines going into this today. Advantage Vrabel, advantage Harbaugh. I'll ask you, going forward, which organization would you rather be?
Between these two?
Yeah.
Well, I think Jim Harbaugh he's taken a step back. I don't feel like he's the same guy that he used to be. That's an easy question. You got an MVP in his second year. You got Mike Vrabel.
But I mean, they're a talented roster.
I know yes, it is.
Yeah. Like, this is a solid win. And I know they're without their 2 big tackles. Is the game different tonight if Alt and Slater are playing?
Probably. Yeah. Especially if the Patriots played offense the way they did. But they weren't playing. They haven't been playing all year. That wasn't the game. And this team has been good. Even without those guys, they've won games. They got here. They were a double-digit win team. That's a good win for the Patriots. Obviously, I don't want Drake May to turn the ball over. Obviously, he has to play better. But I'm not going to get overly critical in his first ever playoff game.
Absolutely.
And when I know his MO is that he doesn't let the mistakes bother him, they're going to have to clean it up. But again, first time out there in the playoffs, bright lights, the biggest game he's ever played in his life. I'm going to give him a minute. And he did get better, I thought, as the game. We made a few more plays, and obviously the big play to Henry. 617-779-0985. This is the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show on the Safety Insurance 98.5, the Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
Autodesk is proud to be the presenting sponsor of tonight's showdown on 98.5, the Sports Hub.
That's a dart.
All right, back here on the Shaws and Star Market Patriots postgame show. Mark Dondero, Joe Murray, live from the broadcast booth at Gillette Stadium. 617-779-0985. New England converted 19 first downs today. And with every first down, Credit Union's Kids at Heart funds promising studies into new treatments for pediatric brain diseases. Learn more at cukids@heart.org. Joey, what'd you think of Ramondre Stevenson tonight?
Really good. The big run kind of set the tone on that first get the first points on the board tonight. I actually saw him doing really well in pass protection tonight. At times, you would think he might be going out for a pass, and they would throw something in that area, but he stayed home to protect. So that's where I really thought it. But I looked up some numbers on him over his last 5 games. Ramondre Stevenson, 39 carries, 332 yards. That's 8.5 yards per carry.
Just a stick tap to Mike Vrabel, and Mike Reese had it in his Sunday morning column. The fact that Vrabel stuck with him, I was calling for him to be cut. I mean, the fact that he did that and built him up the way he did, and for him to be rewarded, Vrabel, with the way Stevenson has played. And then tonight, he was my offensive MVP. I mean, he might have been the MVP of the game for what they were, the struggles they had offensively. Henry came on late. But I loved what Stevenson did tonight. 75 yards receiving. He was their leading rusher, I think. I mean, that was clutch for Ramondre Stevenson, and they needed that offensively from him. And the fact that he came from where he came from earlier in the year to have a night like tonight, that spoke to me. Let's go back to the calls. John in the car. Hey, John.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Listen, I want to talk real quick about infrastructure, because this team for the past 5 years did not have the infrastructure to win a playoff game. So when Robert Kraft, RKK, brought in Mike Vrabel to get this team over the hump, that is what was missing from the previous Bill Belichick regime. He was just collecting a paycheck from RKK and didn't care about winning playoff games. That's what Vrabel did. And you know what? Craig Breslow can take.
Yeah, that's.
Well, I mean,
tomorrow.
I think you can give Robert Kraft a lot of credit. I did not think they were going to move on from Gerard Mayo. I thought they were going to give him another year. Obviously, the right decision. And here's the other thing, Joe. We were talking about Vrabel, and we were talking about Drake May and how he played tonight. But I don't know. I have confidence. He didn't look good tonight, but I feel like they're going to coach him. And they're going to adjust. And next week, if they play the Texans, they play another really good defense with a lot of pass rushers, they're going to have answers. Why? Because it's a competent staff. Not just Vrabel, the staff.
Yeah, staff's all. I mean, look, Stephon Diggs said that he came here because of Downing and his relationship there. You mentioned Ramondre a little while ago. Josh McDaniels last week said, hey, a lot of people should look at Ramondre Stevenson from this year. There's a lot of people who give up on you, but when you stay and continue to play well. But, the biggest thing I would say is Vrabel also has young minds, right? Ashton Grant's a young mind that's here. I mean, you look at Kerr on defense. So, the old regime stuck with their guys, where Vrabel brought some of his guys in, but brought in guys that were head coaches elsewhere. And Doug Marrone, for everything he's done, that's been the biggest thing. The line wasn't great tonight.
No.
But overall, it's been pretty good all year long.
It was an unbelievable showing from the perspective of that's just not how they've won. That's not been the way they've played this season.
This was an old-school Mike Vrabel defensive type of win.
Correct. Run the ball. I mean, they tried to run the ball, but they had some good check. The check down Charlie thing Drake May wanted to avoid. He was great checking the ball. I mean, they had some big plays off check downs tonight. Tucker's in New Hampshire. Hey, Tucker.
What's up, guys? You guys have had a lot of great takes. And the adjustment thing, absolutely. I loved in the fourth quarter when they started getting to the quarterback that they adjusted and just were going all out after him. Put out they got some big passing plays off of that, but at the end of the day, they changed the tide of everything. But I called after the Bills game, I'm still so confused about how one-dimensional our offense is when it comes to running some screenplays or some checkdowns. I mean, the old Josh McDaniels system, one of the great things about it was, first 2 downs, you got LeGarrette Blount and then James White or somebody else coming after him on 3rd down. But it seems like one drive it'll be Travion, one drive it'll be Ramondre. Why don't we mix it up and put a threat on the wide, out wide, and just mix it up a little bit? Like, are they holding it back because Drake May is like not able to comprehend that kind of an offense?
No, the one I didn't like was the Chisholm throw.
I didn't think that was the time.
He was open. But not the greatest timing. You're right. Not a good time in the game.
Didn't feel like they needed
that
on a second down. I don't know.
I'm not going to nitpick the play calling tonight. But I think May struggled.
Correct.
And I think that they were trying to, how do we keep rhythm going? How do you keep this thing going? I will say May always responded, though. If he had the turnover, he responded. He had 2 fumbles tonight. One, he obviously got back.
Yep.
But just getting back to the defense, there was a couple of things that I couldn't believe Justin Herbert got out of a couple of situations tonight and then would run. Or like Vidal somehow just got the ball out of nowhere that was fumbled, right? Like, so in a way, like I saw some really nice things from Herbert today. But in the end, like he is a one-man show. But, I just watched Josh Allen today as a one-man show, right? Like you watch these other guys today. Herbert's going to get crushed. I mean, I just mentioned the company of guys who start their careers 0-3. Matt Stafford's one of them. Matt Ryan's one of them. Andy Dalton's the other. But that's the Patriots beat that team today. They had no touchdowns. They gave up 0 touchdowns to a team that won 11 games this year. That had a lot of hype.
I mean, Ladd McConkey.
And they wanted the Patriots. They folded.
You said that.
At the end of the year, I thought it was disrespect. I think the Patriots answered that disrespect. Careful what you wish for.
I just thought they were better. I thought they were more prepared. I thought they were more ready to play, and I don't understand why Ladd McConkey had only 4 targets.
That's wild to me.
He dominated. When they came here, and I get that was a different team, but he came here and had his way, and you get 4 targets? I mean, you could, no matter what you're dealing with from an offensive perspective, if you're the Chargers, you could try to get Ladd McConkey involved. He's a short, nice, quick guy. He can get open close to the line of scrimmage. He can go deep. I mean, he can do what you need him to do, and they didn't get him involved, considering he's been a dynamic player for them. An impressive defensive performance. And something I honestly, Joe, they've been a professional defense all year, and I've respected that. This was dominant. This was asserting your dominance, ferocious. It reminded me of the Boogeyman.
Oh, God.
That was the nickname defense tonight. They need more than one game, but that was a nickname defense tonight.
I know we got some time. We got to hit a break here now, but I'm kind of curious who your best defensive player was tonight. Save that. And you guys mentioned adjustments, or a caller mentioned it. There's some wild adjustments of Drake May's second half. The numbers are outstanding.
Okay, we're going to get into all of that. 617-779-0985. Joe's going to update us with the headlines. But first, let's get a station identification on the Safety Insurance 98.5, the Sports of Patriots Radio Network.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, this is Boston's home for sports. WBZ-FM at HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub. Sports Hub headlines, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
The Patriots defense, the answer tonight in a 16-3 win over the Chargers. Again, the defense, 9 third down.
right, back here on the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots Postgame Show. Once again, this season, as part of their Apex Cares program, Apex Entertainment will be donating $100 to support autism education and research at the New England Center for Children for every converted field goal. Patriots made 3 tonight. For more information, go to apexentertainment.com. 617-779-0985. Mark Dondero, Joe Murray, live from the broadcast booth here at Gillette Stadium after a huge Patriots 16-3 win, a dominating defensive performance in the playoffs over the LA Chargers.
You know, Mark, I got something for you.
Yeah.
When the season started, right, didn't you think this team would lean on its defense and their free agent signings, Spillane, Williams, Carlton Davis, right?
I did. I thought it'd be more of a defense. I thought they'd mirror more of what they had been under the previous years.
But then the offense, after the first 3 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Offense struggled. They kind of took the training wheels off of Drake May, and it became the May offense. Like, now it's playoff time. And I think when I bring up the struggles of Drake May, I think he was going to go to bed tonight, and I'm glad he took accountability that he wasn't great today. But I hope he goes to bed tonight being like, man, I can lean on Ramondre Stevenson, right? Like, man, I should have made that throw. Was it the Hooper throw in the back of the end?
Yes.
He sailed a couple of balls today, which he did early in the season. But it kind of flipped around. And I know earlier I'm already getting tweets about it.
Yep.
I think that if it was the Steelers or Texans, I think they win this kind of game tonight.
Okay.
I really mean that. I really the way that they played. The way Will Campbell was not great tonight.
No.
And Wilson looked like he was been off for 3 weeks. So I think that those defenses could have spun those guys around today.
But the playoffs, it's about what you want from a quarterback. You know, all the things that you need from a quarterback, the leadership and all, the things Brady was, whatever, clutch. But you need a guy that can make dynamic plays. That's what you need. You don't need in the play, and it's not going to happen most of the time, a dynamic offense. We saw it for years. I brought up the Colts earlier. You never see that in the play. You rarely go out in the playoffs and play this perfect offensive game. I mean, you could do it. Brady's teams did it. Denver came here a million years ago with Tebow, and they had a great. I mean, it happens. But when you're not the greatest of all time, you just need a guy that can make some dynamic plays when they need them. It doesn't have to be a perfect game. It's the play. You're not going to dominate through the air on call in the playoffs. It just doesn't work that way in the NFL. And I thought the Patriots tonight adjusted well when it wasn't working for them, despite the fact a lot of this year they have had success through the air. They've played these great games offensively. The Jets, they had the perfect game, made through a perfect game. I mean, they're not going to get that in the playoffs.
Who was the best player on defense tonight?
You know who I like tonight? Marcus Jones. I thought he was awesome. I thought he made some big plays. He was a part of the coverage unit that was dominant for a large stretch of the game.
6 tackles and a sack tonight.
He made a big tackle on that drive where they made the stop on 4th down to Justin Herbert on the 2. He set up that 4th down stopper, if you want to say that. He made a huge pass breakup along the sideline there with McConkey. He had the ball in his hands, and he broke it up. That was a 3rd down play. I thought he was really good defensively.
I thought Christian Ellis was everywhere.
Yeah.
But the guy I'm going to say is Craig Woodson.
Craig Woodson.
Listen, he guy's a rookie. He's made a few mistakes here and there, but he's been solid overall. I saw it. At least from what I watched tonight, I thought that they brought more guys in the box. At times I thought it was Hawkins. Like they kind of switched it around. It was Craig Woodson. 11 tackles on the night. 7 solo. Had 1 for a loss on the night. Led the team in tackles.
Let's go back to the calls. Justin is in Connecticut. Hey, Justin.
How you guys doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right. Playoff football is back in New England, baby. Let's go. Number 1. Number 2. With the defense, with Christian Gonzalez being out for the number of games he was at the beginning of the season, and watching the switchover from man versus zone after he went out, it kind of struck me like, was there a switch that was turned on there or turned off there? You guys let me know what you think.
I do not. The line said that the Patriots defense is better without Christian Gonzalez. I do not subscribe to that. I thought, has he frustrated me at times this year? Lack of playmaking, sort of, yes. But he made the play tonight. He almost had the interception. I don't know how he got hurt. I guess he got hurt. He got taken out, the head injury. I thought overall he was a part of the unit that really shined tonight, and I thought he was a part of it.
He made the fourth down play on the opening defensive drive.
Right.
Set the tone. The pass interference call that they called on him and took back, I thought it was pass interference.
Yeah. I thought that could have gone either way.
The very next play, they called it on Carlton Davis. I thought that was an awful call.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not. Listen, people think I'm the refs guy because of the gambling angle of it all. The refs kept the Chargers in the game. That's how dominant the defense was today.
Dominant. Jay's in Southie. Hey, Jay. Jay.
Hey,
Yay.
Got to be ready to go, baby. Playoffs. Let's go to Max in Milford. Hey, Max.
Hey, guys. How are you?
What's up?
Good.
Hey, so really quick, I just wanted to touch base on May. The defense did great, obviously, holding them to 3 points, but I wanted to touch base on May super quickly. I think, towards the end of the game, how you said before, he really scaled nicely, especially with that great touchdown that he threw to Henry towards the end of the game. I think this team was really in need of a great leader to kind of show that they can rely on him and that he can also, rely on the team and not have it be centrified around just one thing. Who do you think out of the, I think it's the Texans and Steelers game, who do you think he's going to excel against, better? Who do you think he's going to have, a better game? The Steelers? Yeah. I feel like
rematch. He had 5 turnovers in that game, right? Or they had 5 turnovers in
They
that
had
game?
5 turnovers. There was a couple Ramondre Stevenson fumbles in that game.
That's a redemption game.
Correct.
That is a game. Aaron Rodgers, I know he's Aaron Rodgers. He wins this week. Can he do it twice? I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
Although, again, I'm going to say it. I like their running game. I think they're a tough team. They can win games in the cold weather. I think they also got bailed out against the Ravens. So I think the matchup is the Texans. The way I would look at it right now, Texans probably go after Rodgers and sacks. But I think the Patriots can scheme to protect Drake May that week, and I think it would be their running game that would come through like they did tonight.
And I plan on that. And I'm not saying you are. I'm not terrified of the Texans by any means. They're a good team, great defense. I respect them. I am not terrified that they're going to come in here and shut you down and hold you down, do all these things and make you look like you don't belong. Not, okay? It's a good team. I respect. If they come to Pittsburgh tomorrow night and win the game, and they come here, they'll be playing with momentum, just like the Patriots are. But I think the way they won this game, Joe, they just feel dangerous. I didn't know they could win a game like this. And you're talking about the schedule. We've heard so much. They go out there and do that defensively to this team that had that record. I don't care. They've had injuries. The Patriots have had injuries. Every team has injuries. That spoke to me. Zach is in Nashua. Now Zach will speak. Hey, Zach.
Yeah, guys. Obviously, Houston, Steelers, they got great defenses, right? Offensively, though, I think the Chargers are going to be the best we see coming up, at least, right? So what I'm hoping is at least, Drake got the jitters out. He shook the rust out. Maybe Diggs, scares the defense a little bit, gets the others open, right? We need to see a few more deep balls, get the run game going. We can't have Drake May leading the rushing, for the team. It just can't happen. It's not sustainable. So I think a couple more deep shots gets the running game going a little better.
Today wasn't a deep ball game. Was that booty play considered a deep ball?
No, I don't think it was a deep ball.
Probably one of the deepest of the. Actually, I'll look it up right now. What was the deepest conversion?
I was a little surprised / disappointed in Stephon Diggs. I expected a little bit. He's been so big in the biggest games. He's been so good in those spots this year. I thought he'd be a little bit more involved. I thought they'd lean on him a little bit more. I was surprised that he wasn't a little bit more of a factor in this game. But you're without Matt Collins. Diggs doesn't play well. Pop Douglas did nothing in this game. And you find a way. Henry, Booty came out. I thought this was Booty's best game since early October. And that's a huge that's a huge thing for the Patriots if he kind of reactivates himself.
Yeah. See, I think they'll look at the film like Kyle Williams had a nice catch over here in the first drive or second drive of the game.
Yeah.
They just went away from him after that.
Yeah.
He's their deep ball guy.
Yeah.
Looking at it here, Booty, 42 yards. Stevenson's was 48, but it was a run really from him. But, deepest ball conversion of the day, 42 yards to Booty.
He had some nice plays in this one.
And then Henry's was a 28-yarder, which...
Yeah, I think it was his best game since getting injured.
Yeah.
Keyshawn, but to have him back and productive, that was a big deal.
He had a hamstring issue during the week this week. So when we were listening to the opening line, they did mention Booty and Douglas. I was like, who's not playing today? But all 4 receivers ended up playing.
That was big for them, especially with Hollins out.
Is he back next week?
No.
How does that
no,
work?
No. I think it's the championship game. He'd be back.
Okay, so
not
he
next
won't be
week.
back
Yep.
next week. Okay.
So we got to wait on him. But I mean, they had guys step up. 617-779-0985. It's the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show on the Safety Insurance 98.5, the Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network. $100. The Catches Cares Scholarship ensures financial hurdles will not prevent students from pursuing their dreams. And with that, we are pleased to welcome in Greg Bedard of the Boston Sports Journal, live in the Patriots broadcast booth. Greg, good evening. How are you?
What's up, fellas? Good to see you in ugly mugs in person.
He's right here in my face. This is great. All right, so Greg, let's start with this huge win. Obviously, the playoff game, first playoff win at Gillette Stadium, maybe the biggest win for the Patriots since their last Super Bowl win. But we could talk about that another time. I thought it was interesting, the style of play today. This really hasn't been the way they've thrived all year, not with this style. What was your biggest takeaway from the win tonight?
Yeah, and I actually think this was a Chargers-type game. This is the way, if they could have drawn it up, it would have been 9-3 for most of the game, and Justin Herbert would make a play at the end. It turned out it was Drake May. My biggest takeaway, guys, is I am blown away by the defensive plan from Mike Vrabel, Zach Kerr, all those guys on that side of the ball, because it's something that we've talked about all year, especially in regards to Christian Gonzalez. And they have the ability to play more man-to-man. And while they've increased it, I would say in the last 4 or 5 weeks, we haven't really seen anything like tonight. And even the advanced analytics will tell you the Patriots probably played less man-to-man than they have in recent weeks. But that's not what happened on the field. What happened, and you could see this from the get-go, basically Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis and sometimes Marcus Jones would just be sort of around like Robert Spillane, and they were waiting to see where the Chargers receivers were going to go, and they matched up Gonzalez on Quentin Johnston, Marcus Jones on Ladd McConkey, and then Carlton Davis on either it was Trey Harris early, Keenan Allen. Then on third down, they would put Gonzalez on Keenan Allen, who by far, when you look at their numbers in terms of third down targets, it's like Keenan Allen and then everybody else. I mean, he's like double even like Ladd McConkey. And so they might not have played man-to-man, but they were matching in zone. And I think that really this is something the Patriots have not shown all season. This was something where I think they basically went in and they were like, Greg Roman, I like his run game. He's the Chargers offensive coordinator. We saw what he did in Baltimore. I like how he handles the run game, and he has some really good run concepts, but he's never been a big pass guy. And he's a guy that's not known for making adjustments. And he could never figure out what the Patriots were doing, and he couldn't help Justin Herbert, as opposed to, on the other side, having Josh McDaniels, who that's all he does is make adjustments. And, we could talk about, their last victory, the Rams Super Bowl, where, he's basically creating new personnel packages and plays on the sideline. I think basically Vrabel, Kerr, the Patriots defensive coaches completely pantsed Greg Roman in this game, could never really help Justin Herbert. Herbert missed some throws, just like Drake May did in this game. But the difference was the Patriots had a little bit of a run game. Ramondre Stevenson, May used his checkdowns, and the Patriots just suffocated Herbert and the Chargers, and the Chargers had no answers for what the Patriots were doing.
Just sticking with the defense, Greg. I think we expected Chase on to have a big day. I mean, Milton Williams, obviously from his playoffs in Super Bowl from last year, but I asked Mark, who was the best player on defense? He said Marcus Jones. I thought Craig Woodson had a hell of a day.
Yeah.
Rookie back there at 11 tackles, and then Christian Ellis was everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I think you see his ability, but today it really shined. But how did those guys, what was it about them making the impact, but also Chase on and Milton Williams?
Yeah, I mean, when I did my 3 up and 3 down for BSJ, I left a lot of people off. I could have had about probably about 8 guys, and 6 of them would have been on defense. And you're right. I think Woodson, his tackle numbers were off the charts. The Aronde Gadsden, their tight end, I don't even know if he played in this game. I assume Woodson was on him. I did not notice that. That's my fault. But a complete non-factor in this game. I thought the guys across the board in the secondary covered well. Marcus Jones had some timely blitzes. The Patriots blitzed 45-46% of the time. And, the guys up front, I wrote about this for my column going into this game, about the stunts up front and about how they would attack the run. I thought the Chargers' lack of real weapons and being not having a lot of answers in the pass game, I thought the Patriots were going to go after them with impunity, both against the pass and the run, and that's sort of the way things played out in this game. But I thought, it took them a while to get going. The pass rush, Herbert was very comfortable. I mean, I would say comfortable. I think he completed like 13 of 17 in the first half, only for like 95 yards. But, his EPA was way better than Drake May's in the first half. But then you come out until it was, I think, when they scored the touchdown to go up 16-3, Justin Herbert was 1 for 7 for 0 passing yards at that point in the second half. So
with a fumble.
And he's had issues since he broke his hand. He's had like 5 fumbles, so that was going to be a point of emphasis for the Patriots. But then once they got the game on their terms, then the pass rush started coming, and basically everybody but Harold Landry was getting pressures out there. So just a completely dominating defensive effort from the Patriots.
Just to build on it, Robert Spillane said that the Chargers players after the game said they had no clue what defense they were running.
Yep. See, I mean, I'm telling you, like that, I was, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of criticism of Justin Herbert after this game from certain people on this radio station. He's 0-3, but, I mean, you got to look at the circumstances. I mean, when you're not getting any help from your weapons, the offensive line started having a tough time, and your offensive coordinator's not helping you out. I mean, what do you expect?
Maybe he needs another one.
I mean, if it was Drake May, I'd be saying the same thing about him. If Josh McDaniels wasn't giving him the answers, if it turned out that going so pass heavy even in the second half was at the detriment of Drake May, then I would criticize McDaniels. But I just thought Herbert basically had no chance tonight.
So you brought up Drake May. Obviously not, he didn't start fast. He had the interception off the tip ball. He had a couple fumbles. He lost one of them. Is his performance tonight more about, hey, he had some early game jitters, he's knocking them off, he ended up making some plays that helped him win the game later, he'll be fine, or these real concerns as we look at the beginning of a playoff profile here?
I don't think so. I mean, look, we talked about it all week. This is a really good defense, and they changed the picture probably as much as anybody for the quarterback after the snap. So it's tough. He hasn't seen a whole lot of that this year, and so I thought he played fine. Obviously, he has played better. I do think the wind was somewhat of a factor in this game, especially allowing people to go downfield. Mm-hmm. Neither team did really the booty pass that we were talking about before going on air. That ball seemed to hang in the air forever. I think the wind might have affected the Austin Hooper pass as well, looking at it on the TV copy. And, and also, look, let's be honest. The rookies on the left side of the line had a rough time in this game. Yep. And I thought that was probably going to happen. Odafe, Owe, and Tooley, those guys are long.
4 sacks between them both.
Jared Wilson had a rougher time, which, I wrote about on Friday. I asked Vrabel in the press conference, does Wilson automatically go in over Ben Brown or not? I thought there was a legitimate question. Vrabel shot it down very quickly, and I don't think they're going to change. I think, definitely Will Campbell and Jared Wilson are going to be out there against the Texans or the Steelers. But, I thought, it was fine, but, it was tough defense and not great pass protection.
Yeah, I do want to get into some of the offensive stuff. I know you brought up all that defense. I'm interested in Josh McDaniels' day, too.
Let's take a quick break. We'll be back more with Greg Bedard of the Boston Sports Journal here on the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots Postgame Show on the Safety Insurance 98.5, the Sports Hub. Well, actually, let's get a quick headlines from Joe, and then we'll be back. Podcast booth at Gillette Stadium. We are joined by Greg Bedard of the Boston Sports Journal. And let's do this, Joe. We're going to take a few calls with Greg in with us, and we're going to start with James in Littleton. Hey, James. James.
What's up, James?
We're just in traffic on the way home from the game.
Okay.
Quick.
Stay alert. Let's go to, let's try Dan and Lynn. Hey, Dan.
Hey, guys. Also in traffic on the way home from the game. And obviously the secondary was elite tonight, but I couldn't help from noticing the stands. Anytime we rushed 5 guys, I was on my feet, like, excited. But whenever it was 4 people rushing, it was just lackluster. Do you think that's like a bigger problem going forward, that we're not going to be able to get pressure against the better teams blocking?
Greg, is it a problem? I mean, it looked like there were a few times they were able to get some pressure without blitzing.
Yeah, they were doing a lot of. I remember at one point they had a zone blitz going on where I actually saw. I think it was Christian Barmore and Milton Williams dropping back in the coverage. But as far as the caller's question, it is a good point. I'll have to look at that to see how much pressure they got with the 4-man rush, but. Yeah, I mean, look, it's one of the big things that we've talked about all year. I think that if the Patriots end up losing and their season ends, it's going to be because they didn't get enough 4-man pressure. Now, the question is, and Joe, maybe you can help me out. I mean, I do think the Texans have enough weapons where they're going to have to worry about a bunch of guys. I'm not sure about the Steelers. I mean, they have DK Metcalf back. I'm not really, they do have the tight end.
Gainwell's he makes some
Gainwell, Austin. I think certainly the Texans or the Steelers are a lot scarier than the Chargers. Probably everybody, maybe not the Bills. I mean, they lost Gabe Davis today. I don't know how much the Bills have left on offense. They haven't really had a lot. The Broncos have a bunch of different people that they can go to. So, yes, it's a worry against the teams where you're like, oh, we have to worry about 4 or 5 guys because the quarterback could go to them. In this game, you really knew it was going to be Keenan Allen on third down, occasionally, Ladd McConkey and Quentin Johnston once in a while on a go route, but that's about it. So that's why I thought the Patriots were comfortable blitzing almost 50% of the time like they did tonight. I don't know if they're going to be able to get away with that with other teams.
Just real quick, we saw the defense, the run defense went from this insane strength earlier in the year, and then it became almost a weakness later in the year. The red zone defense has been a problem for most of the year, but tonight it was good. I mean, they figured it out. What did you see anything specific that helped them play productive red zone defense tonight?
Not really. Okay. I mean, I think most teams, and we've talked about this with when the Patriots offense struggled in the red zone. Like, you got to be able to run the ball in the red zone to give yourself a chance to help play action. Get the defense moving, and the Chargers just couldn't get really anything going in the run game other than when Justin Herbert would fumble and Vidal would pick it up and run it for 17 yards. So,
I mean, didn't that when they got stopped on the 4th down? Didn't Herbert run it 3 times before the throw?
Times, I mean, a couple were scrambles. Yeah, and he probably could have made it if he was more decisive earlier. But I didn't really notice anything. I think a lot of it was just the Chargers don't have many guys that you're scared of. I don't even remember. Fisk, I think, got 1 pass as a tight end. I mean, they don't have any tight ends. Disley drops the ball all the time.
Did he even play tonight?
I know. So Gazin had 3 catches, but it wasn't out.
Did he really?
One was in garbage. He caught that first down in garbage time. The game was over.
Yeah. I mean, Gadsden is he in perfect weather, he has a chance to be a decent receiver. He got the drops and lost his confidence, but just really nothing to go to.
He's still a rookie, but I don't fear any offensive line the rest of the way. Like, the Broncos might be a little bit
of an unknown.
Have a
really good offensive line.
The Texans are bad. They're already going through. They had Trent Brown at one point, and so
they're a mess.
I think the defense and what we saw today in their scheme, they can play it against anybody. But I do think that the 16 hurries they had and the 6 sacks, can that be consistent? I don't know. That's why I do think the offense will be better in the next game.
I just wanted to ask about the schedule. We've heard a lot about the schedule. Does this win take all of that off the table and say, forget it, the schedule was the schedule, but they were able to beat a good team today?
I guess so. I mean, look, I wrote going into this, like, they have to win this game, or else the F word would have come up, fraud.
Correct.
That you're with the schedule, but they won a playoff game. I never felt that the Patriots were really threatened. I thought they had control of the game, even though when if it was within a field goal or 9-3 for a while, I thought they had control of the game, and so. Now that they got the first win under their belt, now they're in the tournament, and they drew confidence from this. I thought the crowd was really good too, and they'll be into it next week.
What do you think of the adjustments? What adjustments did they do second half offensively? Drake May was really good. He was so efficient in the second half. What did Josh McDaniels do? Because if you ask me, I think the adjustments, both sides, defense and offense, Josh McDaniels got the better of Harbaugh on the defense.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but the first thing that comes to mind is I thought he spread out the Chargers a little bit more, and we used to see this in the past with Brady, especially teams that want to do some funky things on defense. Like if you spread them out and you go, shotgun empty, it's a little bit harder to be exotic, or else you see it coming. Mm-hmm. And I think that. Doing that for Drake May gave him a little bit of a cleaner picture, able to get the ball out a little bit more, quickly, as opposed to, they're all in tight, and you got to see, all right, well, what are the Chargers? It's really harder for the Chargers to get into their disguise in coverage, which they're known for after the snap, if you're spreading everybody out.
We know that the Patriots are going to play on Sunday. We do not know what time. We know It'll be either. Well, the winner of the Texans and Steelers game, is there a matchup that's better? A team we should root for if you're a Patriots fan? Who do you rather see come into Gillette next weekend?
I'm really not afraid of either team. Mm-hmm. I mean, look, probably the best – well, not probably, for sure. The best unit, I would say, out of, all three teams, including the Patriots, is the Texans defense.
Yeah.
I mean, they're outstanding. So could they throw a monkey wrench into things, especially when we saw – against a good defense. This is a good defense. The Texans are great. And, the turnovers and things like that, I'm worried about that. I'm not worried about the Texans' offense. I think that Nick Caley, the offense coordinator, who used to be here as the tight ends coach, I don't think that he can, similar to Greg Roman, I don't think he can match wits. I don't think he can help C.J. Stroud. I think Stroud struggles. Stroud, I want to say, threw 3 or 4 interceptions against the same Chargers defense when they played at home. The Texans eventually won 16-13. But I think I would rather want the Steelers. They're not real dangerous on offense. You do have to worry about their run game. Rodgers, could be the type of guy who understands what the Patriots are doing and can pick you apart a little bit, but it takes them forever to get down the field. The defense I'm not scared of. Josh McDaniels has always killed that Steelers defense. He'll have the answers to the test. I'm going to pick the Patriots no matter who they play, but I guess I would rather play the Steelers.
All right.
Greg Bedard of the
You want to hang out? Let Greg hang out. You want to hang out another bit? You got to get out of here.
You got to go? You got to write.
I can hang out another second.
All right. Yes,
you can go stay one more
special night tonight. We're all here together.
Take some calls. I want to ask Greg if he has time about that reporter in Jacksonville today that hyped that. So
I heard it.
I can't wait for Felger's take on that, by the way. All right, when we get back, we'll back to the call, 617-779-0985. Greg will stick around for another segment. This is the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show on the Safety Insurance 98.5, the Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
I think it was I forget who had him in the grasp, but because
Jennings?
It might have been Jennings. Because he yanked him, Herbert's arm went forward towards Corey Durden, who dropped the ball that was thrown right in his gut. So that's what happened. But it was a pass.
Dan's in the car. Hey, Dan.
Hey, guys. Just left the stadium. Just wanted to say, listen, defense was my biggest question mark coming into tonight. Defense wins championships. They stood up tall. Offense, I think the rookies, they had some jitters. That's all right. They'll figure it out. But listen, this defense keeps humming. I got to tell you, I like our chances. Give me Pittsburgh. And once we bring Josh Allen back to Gillette in a few weeks, let's go Pats, baby. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything you could want as a Patriots fan has happened so far with the Bills winning, and I think they have a better chance of going to Denver and knocking them off, so you're at home for the AFC Championship game. And, I mean, the defense that was a complete departure from what we've seen a lot of this season. I agree. The defense was definitely the bigger question mark. But even going into this game against the Chargers, like I watched a lot of the more film I watched against the Chargers was I just couldn't come to a place where they could outscore the Patriots. Now, I didn't think the Patriots would get 16 points. Mm-hmm. I thought probably they'd get to 20, but I just couldn't get the Chargers past max 17 points.
I mean, just obviously it's a different situation, different team, different season, but just totally different than what we saw at the end of the year last year. They did what they wanted offensively at the end of the year, week 17 or whatever last year in this stadium. All right, let's go to Nick in Brooklyn. Hey, Nick.
Hey, guys. Thanks for the call. Greg, how concerned are you about the Pats wide receiver performance? It seemed like they just really had trouble getting guys open. Do you think that's the Chargers secondary? Is it Minter schemes? Is it the Pats being limited? And what do you think about that moving forward? Thanks.
Yeah, I'm not, too worried about it. I mean, I do think it was a really good, I would say the story of this game that way was Josh McDaniels sort of met his match in Jesse Minter. And what he does, where normally McDaniels has an advantage against the other team. So, you would worry about, the Texans defense, the Broncos defense, as far as what they do. So I think today sort of showed you that the Patriots have relied on Josh McDaniels getting a lot of people open this year, and they had a tough time in this one. And so, we all know that the Patriots individually at the wide receiver and tight end position, they're not going to blow your socks off or anything like that, but you need help from a good coordinator. And, if Houston, Denver, it's going to be similar, and they're going to have to grind out wins.
Mike is in Westford. Hey, Mike.
Hey, guys. I thought from tonight, Drake May, way under what we're used to, but that defense, the question mark all season has been their red zone defense. It's been the bottom of the league all year. Stood on their heads tonight, right? They were unbelievable the entire game. Showed up in the red zone. Drake May played the worst he's played since the the Pittsburgh game in week 3. It's got to be encouraging for all Patriots fans. Drake May is not going to be worse. The defense keeps getting better. Great win. Great outlook for the rest of the playoffs here.
I mean, it's hard for me to argue with a lot of that. But, again, what I was just talking about. I mean, the Texans and the Broncos defense, like if they, are you going to get this kind of defensive performance against an outgunned offensive coordinator? Remember, the Broncos have Sean Payton. Now, I do think against the Texans, they do have a advantage. Nick Haley's not very experienced. Like, he never called plays until, was it this season that he came? I think it was this season that he came to, Houston. Mm-hmm. And he's never been in this position before, and so. But I would worry about, I would want the Bills to beat the Broncos, just because you would have not only would you have to go to Denver, but you have that defense, and you have Sean Payton, who is capable of finding answers if the Patriots do throw defensively a wrench at the opponent, and I just that would worry me.
Any updates on Christian Gonzalez? And Mac Hollins, could he won't be back next week, but is he on track to come back if they did get past the next round?
So I have not heard anything about Mac Hollins, and I haven't really heard anything about Gonzalez other than, it was announced in the press box. I don't know if you guys knew this or they said it on the TV broadcast, but it was announced late in the game. I want to say with like 3 or 4 minutes left that he was ruled out with, I don't know if they said concussion or head, but to me that means he's in the protocol. So now, there's no, hopefully it was mild. And he could be back. Maybe he could practice by Friday, but he's going to have to go through the concussion protocols, and there's no timetable on that.
Yeah. And it sounds like he said he was fine, but he couldn't talk to the media. So who knows? I don't know. Is the Vrabel Gonzalez thing still a thing, or is this the playoffs? And if he's ready to go, he's ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as he can clear, it looks like from how the Patriots have handled it. Now, Jared Wilson lasted a while. I'm trying to think of other guys with concussions, but Vrabel's pretty much like if he's cleared, he's going in.
Okay, real quick, Greg, were you a little surprised, Stephon Diggs? I thought he's been so good in the big games this year. He only had a few 4 targets or whatever. Did you expect a little more out of him tonight?
Probably. I'm sure when we go back and watch the film, I'm sure the Chargers wanted to take him away. I was surprised that it took Hunter Henry kind of a while to get going because I know going into this game, I think the Chargers were 27th in DVOA against tight ends, but it did finally pay off eventually. I think a lot of that had to do with the Chargers' plan. They probably wanted to take Henry and Diggs away from May. And also May missed him a couple times, so maybe he gets heated up if he didn't miss him.
All right. Packers, do they fire LaFleur?
Ooh, that's a great question. I know my son, who's a Packers fan, would like that. I think that they might.
They butchered the hell out of that second half. They had the win.
I know.
They had I bet the Bears, so I'm sitting there like, this guy's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bears, I would fire him.
It's happened twice. And, it happened the first time. You think they would have learned from it, but holy mackerel, I can't believe that. I feel
him
bad.
and Matt Ryan are buddies. Maybe
are they really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, they had the snap went over Williams' head. I thought that was the game there. They called the penalty. That sort of saved them. Then he made the insane throw on 4th down. So
I mean, that play was insane. But the thing is, I'll say, I like Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh. John. I like John, but I wouldn't hire him as a head coach. How many coordinator issues he has? Because he doesn't have a specialty. He comes from a special teams background. And how many offensive coordinators he's been through? Defense, Greg Roman. He didn't get. He was going to. I think Ravens personnel wanted to fire Monken. Yeah. Defensively, he's gone through guys
Dean
like
Pease, yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, to me, his success in Baltimore had to do with the front office, the personnel, that it was that good. Yeah. And the Packers are good too if that ends up happening or whatnot. But everybody's looking at John Harbaugh as a savior. I just don't see it that way.
All right,
that's a take.
All right. Greg Bedard, it's a pleasure.
All right, time to go to real work.
All right, Greg Bedard of the Boston Sports Journal. We'll hear him on Tuesday with Felger and Maz.
Hopefully we do it again next week.
And we'll hopefully be back next week talking about another win. We'll see.
Hopefully it's not the late game either.
No.
All right, see you guys.
All right, thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
All right, we're going to get a quick headlines here from Joe. But first, before we do that, let's pause 10 seconds for station ID on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports of Patriots Radio Network.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, this is Boston's home for sports. WBZFM at HD Boston 98.5 The Sports Hub. Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Patriots winners 16-3. They only gave up 3 points to the vaunted Chargers offense today, who could do nothing on 3rd down. They went 1 for 10 on 3rd down.
Back here on the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show, 617-779-0985. Nearly 30,000 people in Massachusetts don't have permanent housing. Heading Home is changing that. Get involved today at headinghomeinc.org. We can go back to the phones. Let's go to Kyle in North Reading. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, how concerned are you about Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers? I mean, if they get past that wild card game, he's still throwing dimes out there, and I don't know. Maybe it's a bias to the past, but I'm a little concerned about him and the Steelers. What do you think?
Well, I'll say this, Kyle. I do think the Steelers found a little something. The win against the Ravens, they sort of everybody thought they were dead. They thought that Mike Tomlin was going to be fired, and now they're kind of surging. They have the win in the de facto playoff game, and now they're going to play the Texans. If they beat the Texans, a team that everybody has hailed as the hot team, they're going to really be humming coming into this stadium next week. I think they're very beatable. I am certainly not afraid of them. I would respect Aaron Rodgers, especially if he does it against that Texans defense. But I have faith in the Patriots and specifically the staff of the Patriots to put them in a position to win. And I think they would have the Patriots would have the definitive edge over the Steelers staff.
In the week 3 meeting, Rodgers threw for 139 yards. Now, he did have 2 touchdown passes.
Yep.
Calvin Austin had a big, nice play on that one, and then DK Metcalf. But to me, the biggest change is Kenneth Gainwell.
He's been a good player.
It's almost like, how people talk about how come the Patriots don't do enough screens or whatever. No, that's what Gainwell does for them.
Yeah.
But Jalen Warren's their between the tackle guy.
They have no screens. The Patriots, they don't do screens.
Yeah,
There's
over.
all year they haven't had a screen pass. Jackson's in Rhode Island. Hey, Jackson.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I was actually at the Patriots game, and I just wanted to say, we had a pretty good performance, but from what I could tell, if we play the Texans, particularly next week, Drake May's going to have to rip top cheese against the Texans defense.
Rip cheese? Can we just say this real quick? I hate Mark. We saw the greatest football ever. The greatest era of football with the Patriots.
Yeah.
Tom Brady had bad playoff games.
Yeah.
And the defense picked him up. And I think we started it by saying I'm kind of glad he got the jitters out of the way now. And but I will, if they play the Texans, I do think Drake May is going to have to play better, and I think he will play better.
I just feel like they're going to look at this game. Greg was talking about it. This was not a bad defense. It's a good defense. It's not on the level of the Texans, but they're going to look at what happened. They're going to look at what gave them problems and why May was under duress at times in the left side of the line, and they're going to be able to find a way, I think, to counter some of the issues they had tonight. That's what good staffs do, and I have full confidence that Mike Vrabel and everyone else will be able to put some plan in place that's going to help them against even a Texans defense that's atop the league. And I do think, by the way, they have leaks. So, Riley Leonard was ripping them apart last week. That was a team, I know it wasn't a playoff game. Those were the starters. They were in there, and they didn't know at the beginning of that game that they weren't going to have a chance to win the division. Riley Leonard went off. So I think they've been a little bit – they've come back to earth a little bit from a month, 6 weeks ago. I don't think it's quite the same.
Do you think divisions have anything to do with it? I don't know. Looking at the AFC West right now, the Broncos are the number 1 seed, but the Chiefs weren't really good this year. The Chargers just got knocked out. The Raiders are the worst team in football. And if you look at that division, the Jaguars won 14 games and they lost
to the Bills, who were banged up, and Josh Allen was banged up for a lot of that game. I don't think the schedule, the divisions really matter. No. It's nice. It makes the DVD or whatever they used to come out with those championship DVDs.
3 games to glory.
Yeah, if you have really, a sexy path to the championship, or it's really dynamic, you have all these great teams. That's great. But nobody cares in the end.
I got to look up who if the Pats should be favored in both games, right, at home.
That's
Steelers,
good. Yeah. Yes, they're the 2 seed. Why wouldn't they be? They got the MVP possibly, and they got a good, especially after that defensive performance.
And a dome team coming into New England, which won again. Now 1 in 15, Mark. 1 in 15 dome teams or indoor teams playing in cold weather under 50 degrees. Now 1 in 15.
And again, that's why I was just so impressed and blown away, really, at how they won the game. I just didn't know. Greg said it, and he's right. This was a Chargers type of blueprint, I would have thought. Where the Patriots, they didn't stumble into this win. They were in control basically the whole game. I think they went up 3-0. The Chargers had a chance to take the lead. That's when they had the turnover on downs. They were in control. Despite the fact they were not making dynamic plays down the field, May still ended up with a couple. That pass we haven't talked about to Chisholm, they ended up, I think, was that one of the turnovers, a fumble?
Yep.
Or I forget if they ended up with a field goal on that drive, but that was a great play. It was a 2nd and 18. They get it all the way down to Chisholm around the 10-yard line. They made some of those plays. They just had trouble capitalizing early. Then they finally do on the Hunter Henry play, and that's who you're looking for. You know, you want Henry, you want Diggs to have a big game. Those are your foundational guys on offense, the guys you've leaned on all year. So I just thought that based on how they've played this year, I was a little concerned that they were going to be out of place and not know how to handle it. They got knocked out of place a little bit, but they knew how to handle it.
Dude, we're here now, like kind of looking at it as everybody's cleared out of here. The wind is wild right now.
Look at the goalposts. It must have affected some of the throws, some of the downfield throws.
You know what? I was going to say that.
Yeah.
I do think some of May's throws were affected by the wind. That one by Hooper, he's got to have that one, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one that I even said. You know, Drake May was fine today. 269 yards is a good day. It's a damn good day. It was a little underwhelming from him, but you know what? He did the little things he had to do. He made the plays that he had to. But it was old Mike Vrabel. Did you get the old Patriot vibe? The old first dynasty vibe out of this group today, and the exotic defense, right? That's what Bill Belichick was known for. Or any of the defensive coordinators?
I think you'll have to check me. I think they blitzed on the first play of the game defensively. Their first play, I think they sent the blitz.
Yeah, you know who it was. Marcus Jones blitzed a couple of times, had a sack in the game, but no, it was Hawkins, Jalen Hawkins on the first play.
Yeah,
because he was inside the box. I remember saying, "Oh wow."
And you know what? I'm going to just say this too. That red zone stand when they got the stop on 4th down, that's not easy to do. I mean, Herbert ran 3 times on scrambles. I mean, that's a tough thing to stop.
Whoever made the tackle it was a great stop because he was close.
Marcus Jones.
But you know what was big this year? How many times do we say, "Oh, the Patriots have now given up a touchdown in 9 out of their last 13 games are giving up field goals"? That was huge. And you know what? That's why I say you got to take the field goal. And I know Harbaugh's known for going for it on 4th down. There was another time where they want to go for the next possession on 4th down.
Yep.
They took the delay again.
Right. Punted.
But like in these tight games like this, you can't leave points on the field. Gonzalez made the great play, but it was Harbaugh's decision on both of those plays where I just felt like he wasn't the aggressor. He wanted to be the aggressor, but he didn't have the talent today.
It appeared to me, and I'm not trying to defend Jim Harbaugh, but it appeared to me that he did not think it was going to play out this way. I mean, you don't go for it there. If he had known that, I'm sure he wouldn't have gone for it there. He thought it was going to be Drake May and the Patriots and doing what they've done all year. Dynamic plays, scoring touchdowns, and it wasn't. And they didn't, but they did enough. And they got the big play when they needed it, and that was more than enough. It took the roof off this place. This place was rocking. We felt the energy all night. You collided with Drake May before the game. We thought he was on the injury. We were worried he was going to be hobbled, but nope. That didn't happen. So electric atmosphere. Zoe was hyped. He was talking about how it's back. Gillette's back. It's great to see it this way. This place was rocking. The Patriots get the 16-3 win. I'd like your take on some of the other things that we saw in the NFL today and this weekend. We're going to do that, and we're going to do a few more things here on the Patriots Postgame Show, the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots Postgame Show on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports on Patriots Radio Network.
The Jeep brand is still keeping it fresh after 85 years. See for yourself at the Jeep Start Something New sales event with great deals on the Jeep Wrangler with the legendary 4x4 capability you've come to know and love. Or the luxurious Grand Cherokee with available 3-row seating and technology that turns every drive into an adventure. There's only one most awarded SUV brand built for it all and for everyone. Hurry into your local dealer today for great deals at the Jeep Start Something New sales event. Jeep has won more awards over its lifetime than any other SUV brand. Jeep and the Jeep Grill are registered trademarks of FCA US LLC.
Nobody
Nobody knows New England like McGovern Auto Group. Hi, this is Scott.
The Shaw's Star Market Patriots Postgame Show to Chris Stapleton's Tennessee Whiskey. Music of the game is brought to you by Live Nation. Don't miss Chris Stapleton's All-American Roadshow Friday, August 14th at Fenway Park. Get tickets this Friday at livenation.com. Back here, Gillette Stadium broadcast booth. Mark Dondero, Joe Murray. A wild weekend so far. There's one more game to go in the NFL. Probably this one might have been the least wild of all the games. What's been your big takeaway from all the action in Wild Card Weekend that we've seen?
Take the points. If you have a chance to get points, take them. And, you know, the Rams early on, I think, had a chance to take points. They didn't. The Bears in their comeback, if you think about it, they kicked field goals, and that's how they made it back into the game.
Yeah.
Just don't. And again, today, just with Harbaugh, like, my big takeaway is, like, stop leaving points on the field, man. Like, and I know that you can have a tough time trusting kickers. Did Dicker, the kicker, get much action? He got that one.
Get the one field goal.
Not much of an impact in this game today. So I just that was one. But man, coaching when it's on the line, I still think that these guys don't make the right decisions, dude. And the guys you think that normally would, like LaFleur, I thought was a good coach. Not after yesterday, man.
Good offensive mind. I don't know how I've ever felt about his coaching overall. That was an epic choke. You cannot lose that game to that team that you know very well. It's not some surprise. They had the ball. I mean, the game was over. When that snap went over Caleb Williams' head, they called the penalty. He makes that unbelievable throw, one of the throws of the year. I mean, if you look at that throw from behind, they showed the angle from behind. There was nothing there. I mean, he had to put that on an ashtray at the sideline, and they made a great catch. Who was it that made that catch? Was it DJ Moore? I forget who made the catch. But it was a great play, kept the season alive. They go down, they score, they end up winning the game. I mean, insane choke by the Packers were in control. They were doing it, and then they scored again. I can't believe they lost that game, even on the road.
So it's funny. I think it's well known that I wanted Ben Johnson with Drake May.
You wanted Ben Johnson,
and I think he's good.
He has been good.
I think I don't think I was wrong on my take. Do I think Vrabel's the right guy? Absolutely. But I was wondering today, like, Ben Johnson struggled early in the game.
Yeah.
And made some really good. I mean, Roma Dunze, they drafted last year, fell down the depth chart, made the two biggest plays for them yet. So, like, a guy that wasn't really even on their depth chart, dude, made the two biggest plays late in the game, and Caleb wasn't afraid to go to him. Ben Johnson called his name. So I was curious today how Vrabel would come out, right? First playoff game. Again, I was like, all right, well, Ben Johnson came back and won. Let's see. So to me, it's still every week, Ben Johnson, Vrabel. But tonight, the scheme, just the players, the coaching staff, everything, it came up Mike Vrabel today, even a little bit of blood in the end of it all.
They have to address the turnovers. Obviously, that can't continue. The fumbles, especially. I'm not going to crush Drake May for what we saw in the interception. I'll put it on him. That's his fault, even though it was a tip ball. But the fumbles, you got to be more aware. That's got to be cleaned up.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yes. I will say this. Most times when there's two or more turnovers in a game for the Patriots or Drake May,
bad things.
It's not good.
No.
Today, defense picked them up.
Your take on the Bills beating the Jaguars down in Jacksonville, Josh Allen doing it?
I felt as though the Jaguars late in the game kind of mismanaged the clock to let the Bills come back, and then when they came back, they used all three of their timeouts. Like, that was a little bit of a weird mismanagement there. Josh Allen is a warrior. Whether it was the finger that he jammed, the knee that he hurt, the concussion he almost had earlier in the game. And shout out to Khalil Shakir. 12 targets, 12 receptions on the day. He's the guy that they've wanted to be their number one. Outstanding. Jaguars are a good team, man. But
they are.
But
can't run against them.
It's just, I don't know. Like, it was the Bills in the end. Dude, right now, to me, if I had to make a choice, I think it's going to be Bills, Rams. I just don't know if the Bills can win 4 games in a row and win. I think, and if it comes to here, Bills versus Patriots here, oh, man. I want to see it.
I think you have to. I mean, this is the path. You need. I'm not as terrified of Denver as everybody else, but I'd rather not go there. I think if you get the Bills here, you know them so well. You've had success against them. You know their defense. I think you get the coaching advantage. Drake May certainly isn't intimidated by it, and they're so banged up. They're banged up, Joe. I just what a moment that would be, and an opportunity that would be, if the Bills were to come here and you hosted the AFC Championship game. Man.
That's what I have right now. I have the Texans winning next week, Patriots beating the Texans, playing Buffalo in the AFC Championship game at home. I do have Buffalo. Right now, I have Buffalo winning that game. I just don't know if Josh Allen can stay healthy in that situation.
Yeah.
Hey, their defense was better today, too.
It was. But that's what we see. You see these teams in the playoffs. The defenses rise up. They're a little bit more maybe sophisticated with their game plans, and they show up. And that's why you can't expect to have a perfect game offensively. You're going to expect Drake May to make mistakes, but that's why I've loved his demeanor all year. He just keeps coming. He just keeps battling. He'll make a play. He has a short memory. The Manny Ramirez, it just doesn't bother him. He keeps going. Even if he has a bad game, he's back, and he'll make a play for you. And it's a lot of times an explosive play.
What does GM Dondero do with the Philadelphia Eagles?
Well, after the game, Nick Sirianni was trying to make it sound like his relationship with A.J. Brown is good. I don't buy it. I would find a way to move. I mean, I think you just have to. Obviously, when you have the down, I mean, we've heard about it all year. They did not look like they were right this year. I would try to tap into the leadership and figure out, is it the coach? I mean, the coach did just win the Super Bowl. I'd be uncomfortable firing the coach. I'd probably try to make a deal and get rid of, if it's Brown. The problem is the quarterback needs the help. He needs the weapons. And if you start getting rid of talent,
I mean,
it's going to put you in a
A.J.
spot.
Brown and Saquon Barkley. It's
Right.
like, what are you supposed to do?
And Devontae Smith has been really good. They've got Goddard. I mean, they've got a lot of guys. I would try to maybe, if you think that Brown was really a problem within the locker room and that caused some of your issues this year, you got to move him and take your chances. But I don't know if I'd get rid of the coach right now. I mean, it was one, they made the playoffs, won the division, you won the Super Bowl last year. You're going to get rid of the coach?
Did Stephon Diggs have a type of game where A.J. Brown would? Meaning Brown makes impact plays, but today didn't do much. Stephon Diggs had a big first down, couple of plays, but when Diggs is quiet, he's quiet.
Yeah.
When he's loud, he's loud. It's probably the same thing as A.J. Brown.
I would.
Brown's a better athlete right now.
I'd love to see. Yeah, I would love to see Diggs be a little bit more involved and a little bit more productive, and then I think they're going to need that. I don't think they can just keep having Stephon Diggs have quiet 2-catch performances and expect to make the championship game
next week
or anything bigger than that. Obviously. All right, we're going to wrap it up when we get back. We're going to get one more quick headlines though from Joe before that happens.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Patriots win 16-3. It was the defense today. 6 sacks. They pressured the hell out of Justin Herbert, who's now 0-3 in the playoffs. Drake May got his first playoff win, 268 yards through the air, a touchdown pass to Derrick Henry. Christian Gonzalez left the game with a concussion.